of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we're going to move to our next item, item number 3, approval of the agenda. I would like to ask if we could please move item number 8 and item number 9 to below item 17. Because 8 and 9 are just informational items. I'd like to get all our action items out of the way while we still have Catherine here, if that's okay.
Number 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good.
We have a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Catherine,
Second,
second by Carl. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Moving on to item number 4, communication. We have one comment for this.
Mostly always will.
No, you weren't here at the July meeting.
well,
If I can just say that I have been to more school board meetings than anybody in this room.
Yes.
And I think I can say that in good conscience and I think I can say that with clarity and
Aye.
conviction.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So I missed the July meeting.
It's okay.
Sorry. I was probably on vacation.
It's okay.
Okay, so I just wanted to remind the board that, and let the board know that on Wednesday, the 17th of September, Virgin Teachers Association will be negotiating for Article 18, which is health and pay with the district for this year, for the current year that we're in, and hopefully we will be able to get that closed up at the October meeting. I do plan to sunshine for the next year. So that is on your agenda and you know that that's coming. We are hoping that the board and that the district has an offer that our teachers are able to live with and accept. We're looking forward to that. Thank you. Have a peaceful and productive meeting.
Thank you. And we're going to move on to item number 5, public comments. I believe we have one public comment this evening. Mr. Bushel?
Okay, good evening to the board. No, I'm Mike Bushel, PE teacher, athletic director. I'm here to talk about our amazing coaches at Orchard today. They're not only coaches, but they're mentors, trusted adults, psychologists, physiologists, dietitians, probably about 7 or 8 other things as well. They help our students adapt to high pressure situations, often in front of the public, leading the students, to be the best versions of themselves. And what they do with our students on the court or the field helps these students to go on to be better human beings for the rest of their lives. As such, you would hope that their efforts would be as valued as highly as they should be. But unfortunately, Orchard coaches are not valued as highly as they should be, nor as highly as their colleagues at neighbouring schools. Orchard coaches make, on average, half to 2/3 of what comparable coaches at local district schools make. Most schools pay their coaches $2,000 per team per season. Orchard pays $1,100 per team per season. That has gone up only minimally in the last 10 years. Coaches put in roughly 120 hours per season on their teams. So when you do the math, $1,100 divided by 120 is less than $10 an hour for their efforts with those teams. Take out tax, you're looking at $6 to $7 an hour for what they do. As a member of the Orchard Teachers negotiation team, I would ask the members of the board that because coaches' stipends are considered to be part of the Orchard Teachers negotiation package, that you provide a substantial raise in those stipends to reflect the value that you put on the work that our coaches do. Thank you.
it's mine.
Thank you. Our next item is item number 6. We're gonna hold a public hearing for sufficiency of textbooks and instructional material. We'll go ahead and start our 1-minute timer for this item.
Raucous meeting.
I know we should, right?
Is that sufficiency or is that
Actually,
crickets?
2 minutes and something. Yeah, because I used to have my kids like cleaning up.
That's funny. How come you guys don't sit in the front? It's like graduation, everybody runs to the front. No.
But not our children. I'm trying to take pictures.
I'll bring a prize for whoever sits in the front next meeting. All right, our 1-minute timer is up. We can now close the public hearing for sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials. Yeah. Can't tell you, it's a surprise. We'll go ahead and move on to our next item, item number 7, consent agenda. Have any? You want to pull anything, or are you ready to go ahead and make a motion to approve?
Some questions I had in the finances can be asked offline, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Carl, second by Catherine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. So we're gonna move on to our next item, which would be item number 10 on our agenda, because we moved item 8 and 9. Approval of request for architectural purchase.
So,
Story.
under the direction of the board and looking at the work that we've had done here, obviously we feel we had a very successful project with the field and the shade structure, though the shade structure probably took a little bit longer than I think any of us wanted to see.
9
Um,
years.
But we do feel like we do need to increase our architectural pool for some of the other projects that we're talking about, as the board has approved the facilities master plan. We have some big projects that we have discussed. And we
Yep.
really want to take a look at increasing the number of architects in our pool. And so we did do an RFP. As the board saw over the summer, we increased it by another week to keep it open a little bit longer. Through that process, we ended up with 3 firms that submitted proposals to it. We did get a chance to share this with our facilities team that 2 board members sit on. We think for the projects we have
Like this one.
and to have our work being able to bid it out to different architects, get, their scale of their interpretation of what they think would be good for our site. We do think it's important that the board approve 2 of these firms. When we went through the process, we had to look at a criteria. Make this a little bit bigger. And so one of the big parts is they have to meet these categories at the top. When you look at their rates overall, the rates were fairly comparable. If you think of the far left as an admin to a partner or the CEO, that's where the range is. So the secretary is 95 or 115. And then on the far right, you're talking about the principal and owner cost of it. So a lot of times our work probably falls in between it when you think about our projects, because we don't always need to have the principal doing the work. But there are times that the principal may do the work, obviously, depending on the size of the firm. And I'm just gonna move across this. So we have the rates, we have the completion of documents. We wouldn't bring anyone forward if they didn't have complete documents. That is one of the biggest pieces of it. There is one that changed between when we had this done and where we are today. And I do want to call that, I did acknowledge with our facilities committee. We received after the submission, their updated insurance that they're in the process of getting, which we can accept. The criteria or the DCA insurance does meet the criteria. It actually exceeds it now. So it did not when we first received their packet, but they're in the process of getting their renewal. So just do want that to be noted. Though one area that did stand out to us, that was not met is under DSK. They didn't meet the legal counsel. They actually did not have their own legal counsel. And they actually made a statement. I know a lot of the board already had a chance to see this, but in their packet, they actually call out the fact as if it, was important to them that they didn't need the legal counsel because they've never experienced it, they've never had a need for it. From our process in looking at it, that is a criteria that we think is important. And so the rest of their packets are very similar. Services, locations are all close by. That was a big part. We don't want somebody that their home base is in LA and they can't go to the project and the work that we have here. So they all really were similar in all other aspects, with the exception of legal counsel. I will say some had more experience in the TK-12 sector, but it also matched with what we saw as the ones that stood out. So as a team, when we talked about it, ADIS and PCA did come as two firms that we think would be great to work with. And really from Luis and Chanel and I went through each of them, and I know the board had to too. It jumped out in sharing with our facilities team. I think we had a similar question of why they didn't have legal counsel, but you know, in the grand scheme of it, it just does not meet the RFP. And so we will take any questions the board has. We follow.
I did have a chance. Thank you for dropping these off at my house while I was recovering from COVID. I saw that in the one where we talked about legal, and they prided, I felt like they were taunting, like priding themselves in the fact that they didn't need legal, but you never know. So that was kind of a deterrent to me. There are other criteria I was kind of looking for is some that were familiar with the modular, because we have been kind of talking modular for our TK Kinder. And I felt like looking at it that they had like ADIS, for instance, they did have they have experience in that field. And there was, I believe it was BCA had experience in that field as well. So I would say my top two would be the same as the district, and picking those for moving forward with our two new architects.
Yeah, and you know, as for not having legal counsel, I would start thinking about the way they answer. It's okay, you know, they haven't had any trouble, and lawyers are easy to get. So I wouldn't use that as a big red flag. I'd say, why didn't you have legal look at your, you know, documentation? That's an important question, but it wouldn't make me afraid on the front. Nonetheless, that's just a comment. How did we look at the non-collusion item?
So they have to disclose who their team is that'd be working on the project. And so
Mhm.
we're able to go through any member that's a part of it. Most of them put a workflow for a tree through it. And their project team, the way they laid it out, made it a lot easier for us to follow if anyone was from the area. If we knew of anyone that was associated with us here or associated with any, you know, staff member or whatever the case.
Right, and we talked about
We did.
that as well. Yeah, because that's a problem when you have double dealing. These people are taking a lot of money. They're charging way too much on the open market outside school. The costs are about half. So every single project we're being ripped off, just insanely. So looking for that, it's like, where's the money that you're stealing going to? Who do you know? And I'm wondering how deeply we can get a handle on it. Nonetheless. Yeah. I wonder.
I will say that's nice about having a pool, that if there was something that we determined at a later point in time, that there was a conflict that was going to disclose, we would be able to
Go somewhere else. Yep, that's the strength of what you're trying to do here. Yeah.
So after we do this, we'll have 3 architects, right? Are we still keeping
Well,
the one?
technically,
we
Two.
technically we'll have 4,
Four.
because we still have our landscape architect, though
Yeah.
we don't have
We
a
may
need
not
for the
use them.
landscape architect, but
Right.
we get to hang on to them as part of our pool. McKim would also still stay on right now. We haven't looked to close them out. We just are looking to add.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to make sure we were still in.
It doesn't cost
Right, that's what's nice.
to approve something.
There is not a cost to have the firm right now. Not do we start assigning work.
With that. You ready to listen to a vote to approve
Any other
district's recommendation?
questions?
Oh, you guys answer some questions.
So, we'll obtain an, well, I can't talk today. Do we have a motion to go with the district's recommendation for ADIS and DCA?
It's the first two you listed.
Motion.
We have a motion by Catherine,
Second.
second by Carl. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0.
If you're sitting in Virginia, we talk on the phone, but not as deeply.
We're gonna move on to item number 11, cybersecurity. Go ahead. We'll turn this over to you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. So I know during our last meeting, we had talked about us and a desire to have a superintendent committee to focus on cybersecurity and AI. During that meeting, it was also expressed about having 2 board members sit on that. So in order to have 2 board members sit on it, the board has an opportunity, if you want, to elect up to 2 members to join our committee work on that. So really, it's an item of the board if there's interest for those 2 members and who you would recommend.
Please put me on that.
Is there any other people?
I'll do it.
Catherine? I would like to sit on that committee
Oh.
also.
Mhm.
Virginia?
Go ahead.
I wouldn't mind,
I know, it
Um,
sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
but we just need to make sure that we're present
That's true.
And
and,
capable,
yeah,
full,
so,
yeah,
yeah.
understand.
I think the presence is the most important thing. When we have committees and then we have board members sitting on them, they're a representation of the board, and bringing back information to the board is important for those committees.
Right.
So, and I'm not, currently the only committee I'm on was to do the handbook, and we already did that. So I'm not currently sitting on any committees for the district.
Mm. Welcome to sit on another one, but it's very important to have the understanding of networking and computers and such. I think I'm the only engineer sitting there.
You're an engineer, but I also have technology background. I work a lot of technology.
You're EE type,
Excuse me?
you're EE type programmer,
I'm not a programmer,
Networking?
but I'm very involved in technology.
and you should be able to understand
I understand.
what the issues are.
I definitely understand cybersecurity and AI.
Okay. Nobody definitely understands,
I've sat on
Okay.
committees at my work. And
Yeah.
so
so that's
AI is
directly
always
applicable.
changing.
AI
It's
is
constant.
definitely always changing.
It's a
I
constant
think
change.
I should sit on it where I sit.
So even what you, my opinion is even if you're familiar with the network technology, it's if we're up to date with what's going on in the
That's-
world. Cause there's constant change and people are figuring things out and kids are getting smarter. People are getting smarter and figuring out, these, how to do things. There's a lot of things that the little elementary kids know how to do where, they're teaching us how to figure something out because they're figuring it out. So I don't think that it's necessarily having to have complete background. I mean, of course it helps, but just
It is
knowing.
absolutely necessary, or you won't understand what these people are talking about. It is absolutely necessary. Don't put me on, it would be a mistake. Wouldn't be the first. But we go on.
There was a comment you had made at the last meeting, like you have people that are interested in getting into this and it'd be great to bring them in. And to me, that's a conflict of interest.
No, it'd be interesting to listen to what they have to say. They want to try to develop something. I don't think they're able. Was the takeaway. But the important thing is that there are people out there that are trying to get traction and move forward. That opportunity was somebody that wanted to try to help us develop for free off from our side, an AI course that would help teach our teachers who could then use and teach the students. In no way, shape, or form is that something that could be construed as conflict of interest. I resent that.
I'm
But
just,
the idea is right.
the comment.
The
you
idea
didn't-
is right.
Yeah, you didn't say that it was free. You said you have people who are interested in getting into this space and would like to come in to help us. So,
And the hope was we could help them form an effective program that they could go send out somewhere else. Then we would be taking credit for helping learn the AI system and how it goes. But I'm not sure that they're able.
and I know sitting on and going to different AIs with the Santa Clara County School Board Association and with CSBA. You know, the AI world in schools is very different than the AI world out there. And even cybersecurity is very different in our lens versus the public sector's lens. And I think it's really important that we are embracing what is being offered in our networks of school-based stuff, and following that. So, you know, there's policies that would eventually come to the policy committee, which I know Catherine and Carl are on the policy committee. So if the AI committee would not be able to set any policies, they would have to then go to the policy committee for final review and approval to bring to the board. So if we need to make a motion, do we need to? How does
Each
it work?
member, just like you was at December when you identified your board, and you have to do the same here, so be individual, one at a time.
Okay, so I would make a motion for Virginia to be on the AI committee.
So the important thing is to know the direction of potential attacks and defense. That's the only thing that's really important. And to see that we're doing the right things at the network level and the way our people behave. Because you can leave a door open even though it has a nice lock. And that's a real common, easy way to get into problems. So, you know, it's not just technology, it's.
Yeah.
Having went
it's,
through
as you say, at a-
cybersecurity attack at a company that affected a lot of things and a lot of time. And having sat on how it was the outcome of that, it was definitely there's definitely a lot of processes that need to be in place and followed. And, you know, at this point, that's, you know.
And much like Renee said, it's more than just cybersecurity outside. It has to do with the school. And I feel it's really helpful having like, we're all here for the benefit of our school and our children, but you know, having children still in school age children and seeing what they do and what they see and what, you know, all that, it's a whole nother type of mentality as well of keeping our kids safe and what they do. And, you know, my kids will share things that happen. So it's nice to have that part of the insight of what they deal with on a daily basis.
Having a kid in school is not a requirement to.
No,
to
not at
do
all.
this. I thought
No.
that's sort of what you're leaning on.
No, I said
You
it,
know, that's-
it's nice to have helpful knowledge, but no, it's not nothing necessarily is a requirement, even having the network background. I don't have to be an engineer to understand or to get an understanding of AI and what we're dealing with today.
For cybersecurity, fundamentally, you're looking to defend attacks where someone is going to try to blackmail us by shutting everything down, and you have to have the proper ways to parallel backups and at the right times look for issues and be able to recover from. That's the fundamental problem. And schools that don't, they don't have any. They can't teach without all the bells and whistles, all the neat technology we're putting up. Stop. Now, we're small, we can maneuver. We're better in a lot of ways than big districts with a lot of people that just know their slice. The whole thing goes down, put their hands up, it stops, and that's been done lots and lots of times. That's what the problem is,
It also has to do with
not engineering.
what our
To understand.
students and staff have access to. And as much as you don't want to restrict websites or places that they can go, but sometimes you have to, because those are direct attacked.
Well, permissions and, yeah, read-only permissions is a lot different than read-write, and those are the places you look.
So I'll make a motion for Virginia to be on the AI committee.
Can I say,
Yeah.
second?
So we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hmm.
Well, it'd be two people, right? Two people.
Two people. So we don't have, majority.
Just bring this back.
When were you planning on
It's,
starting? to-
it's not timely.
Yeah, for the board.
I mean, I don't
See.
mind, but someone making decisions that doesn't
I
understand
mean, I
the
think,
mistake. Someone who does understand, not looking at and questioning people that are trying to sell us stuff is also a mistake. And so
But I think ultimately everything will. come
you're
back.
uniquely qualified. If you don't use that, that's another mistake.
So as the board deliberates this process and we can bring back next meeting, would the board feel comfortable with Christine and myself starting to get the committee put together here so we can
Yes,
start laying out the work with that as the board
Yes.
deliberate?
certainly.
And we can bring it back to the October meeting, if that's
Sure.
okay? So
If we're arguing about who wants to spend volunteer time, that's not a bad thing.
so, hopefully I know the
Really
purpose
is true.
We will bring back the cybersecurity as an action item for the October meeting.
I think one of my biggest things is if you're gonna commit to being on the committee, you need to commit to coming to the meetings. I think that's the biggest.
That's
thing.
what I
We
worry
have
about.
Board members who sit on committees that
Yeah.
don't attend. So that to me, that's something that I think is really important.
Right.
So with that said, we'll,
Sorry, one Kevin, and if we heard right, we are, for the note purposes, Christine and I will go ahead and move forward, pulling our committee together with our school site now.
Yeah.
Pending, the future board members joining after that.
and we'll bring it back to our October meeting.
Oh, did you get?
And we're gonna, with that said, we'll move on to item number 12, memorandum of understanding MOU OTA stipend. I believe we have one comment.
That's me. So in front of you, you have a memorandum of understanding between the district and Orchard Teachers Association to increase two stipends. One of the stipends is the BITSA stipend, and that one is not even in our contract, but we've been paying the same amount for the BITSA stipend, you know, for like 20 years. It's never been increased because it's not in our contract. And so Jeff and I did some research, and other districts are paying between 2,000 and 3,000, and we were paying $1,100. So that was, you know, really bad of us. So we decided that we could, you know, increase that stipend, and we will be seeking to put that into our contract as a contract stipend. And then the other one is for the instructional leadership team, which I think has taken on a lot more responsibility. And we always had the ability to have 2 meetings a month, and then we would get paid for the second meeting. I'm on that committee, so we would get paid for the second meeting, and so we just increased the stipend a little bit so that people don't have to submit a timesheet, and so the district actually ends up probably saving money and saving time because they're not, you know, working with these timesheets of the instructional leadership team. So that is why you should just approve this. It doesn't necessarily mean that these things shouldn't be put into the contract or that the briefing stipend is any less important, because it's also important. So I just wanted to make that point, and I encourage you to approve this. Thank you.
This would follow up on what Aaron was saying, that the ILT stipend is not really increasing the budget because we were having so many monthly meetings anyway, that it really is already budgeted. It's just saving everyone, Chanel, payroll, Louise, every teacher that's ILT from having to go through with the second time card. It just wasn't needed with the amount of meetings we're having. So there really isn't a cost increase to our overall budget with that one, since we were already paying for two meetings. Most months. And then bits to Aaron's point, we're matching up more with what the bits program uses out of Campbell, and this matches closely with what they're paying their bits and mentors. And so, we do think it's important.
Can I ask what BITSA stands for?
You want me to speak to that?
What?
Giving teachers, or,
And advisement.
yeah,
So it was, I guess it was in 2002, that it became the law that teachers had to, in order to clear their credential, they had to go through a 2-year induction plan program at their school site, but we were too small. So we weren't able to have our own induction program. So myself and Warner Horton, who was a former superintendent, who went out and we schmoozed the BITSA director of Campbell. And we joined their induction program. And so we've been with them ever since, and we'll have to be part of a consortium because we're a smaller district. But it's something that, it's based on research, which shows that teachers who go through an induction program and work with somebody at their school site have an 80% greater chance of staying more than 5 years, which is even the average lifespan. And it's also the way that our newer teachers have, they're
required to.
yeah, they're required to. So for us to not offer that, we would not be able to hire any new teachers.
I would just say early on when the program first came out, and a lot of times your districts were going to school. So Notre Dame Day and Muir would run a program where you clear it. It was expensive and it was pretty labor intensive. Not that it's not labor intensive now, but there was even more paperwork originally with it.
Yeah, we did the use of Santa Cruz
Yeah.
run for a while, and that was
It was,
much work for me.
it's a lot. So it's evolved. It's, I do not want to say in any way it's not, it is a lot of work for someone to go through. But it is more that districts offer this, and more that districts help teachers clear the potential because it's part of retention.
And the mentors, so the stipend goes to the mentors.
Okay, that was my next question.
The on-site mentors who meet with teachers once a week for the whole year, but for at least an hour. Usually more. So in the time that I was working with BITSA, I don't do any more of all this instead. But I did 27 new teachers, and I can tell you, you're gonna average between 2 and 3 hours with every teacher. That's what it's gonna be. So a $2,000 stipend for the year. The amount of work that is put into this. Plus the trainings and
And the meetings throughout the year.
the meetings, and they have meetings. I think they're down to like, there's 4 meetings, and then. if you
Still
do
add that on there.
There's still
there's
everything.
contracts that- To do an ed puzzle that takes 2 hours. So it's then well, paid for it.
Well, and the output from all your effort is obvious, right? You see it, you can help the new teachers pretty early and
That's-
know when
That's the plan.
to filter them out. I've seen it.
Thank you for all.
Teaching is not easy.
No.
Some people are not meant to be teachers. All these people. But some people are not meant to be teachers. So that is, as a BITSA mentor, I did have to have the conversation with some counsel out of the profession. As you don't really want somebody that's.
You made Mr. Gilbert cry.
No. You know, there are things that.
Thank you for all that information.
story.
No,
Yeah.
because I just
It was
like,
good.
I don't know what this is. Junior's
was
probably
very
thinking the
good.
same thing, so.
Very good.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the staff
Yeah.
that sit on that committee and helps our new teachers, because they're the future when our seasoned teachers decide that they don't want to teach anymore. We have to bring new teachers in, so. You guys have any questions on this item? I'll make a motion to approve this contract, or the MOU.
Second.
Motion by Renee, second by Virginia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. Our next one is the memorandum of understanding MOU with Champions.
So with this one, we have multiple contracts with Champions for all the programs, but this one specifically is calling out. How we use our ELOP dollars to support the longer school day. And so we had to update the contract to reflect. Both the homework zone as well as the extended hours after school, so it has to reflect both of them, not just one of them. In our earlier contract, they didn't have the language prepared yet for homework zone to be included with it. So this allows for us, for our McKinney-Vento students, which is our homeless students, for our students at risk, for our low-income families, it allows us to use our ELOP dollars to support their extended school day. And so really, you're not gonna see major changes in the language from anything that the board has already approved. It just is the acknowledgement that we had to call out those two programs. And in talking to Luis, the agreement is set to not exceed 40,000. When the board approved it a year ago, it was set to not exceed $100,000 for it.
Oh.
Because we weren't really sure where and how we could manage this contract. And so in looking at everything, $40,000 seemed like a much more reasonable number for us to look at of using our ELOT dollars for that. Right.
Any questions on this item?
No,
Motion to approve?
I can motion to approve
We have
the
a motion.
MOU.
Motion by Virginia, seconded by Catherine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.
All right,
Next item, MOU of understanding from San Jose State University.
so this is a contract to continue our work with San Jose State for teachers, counselors. We've had speech therapists with it. And it just, it's a 5-year contract. The one caveat to it that we're still working with them on is the termination language. Not that we ever think we're gonna break a partnership with San Jose State, but it's something that has to be in the contract. And so we're fine tuning that language. And so what I'm asking the board for tonight is to certainly approve this contract, continue the partnership with San Jose State. But with the acknowledgement that there's gonna be a termination language of 30 or 60 days. Just once we get there. They originally shared about a 90-day, typically for school districts, we're at 30, I put out 30 or 60, and I hadn't heard back from them yet, which way they wanted to do it. And they may have emailed today, I just don't know. Other than that, it's a great agreement with us. There's a spreadsheet that they sent to us for us to look at, whether it's a student teacher, a counselor, a speech therapist, a psychologist. That really opened up the doors for us to work with San Jose State. As you know, they're part of the Eastside Promise, and that partnership's important for our families.
So I thought we just recently approved an MOU for San Jose State.
We did, it was specific for speech therapists. This is for teachers and counselors.
Okay,
So it broadens our
Okay.
positions that we are with.
So you can have student teachers, counselors, and
okay.
That's right.
any questions?
I can motion to approve the MOU for San Jose State University.
I have a motion by Virginia, second by Catherine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Our next item, approval of the 2024-2025 unaudited actuals.
I'd like to see it.
What's that? Yes, it's really bright. I know it's dark on the side.
First, I just, no, part of the presentation was just our annual financial reports and the timeline. This would technically be the end of the cycle where we're getting the final actual in the year and where we ended. Next time we'll see you'll be back in December, we'll start the cycle all over again for it, that could be all over. Also your strategic plan, which are priorities that align with this budget. Seen this before. And so for the next few slides, I tried to put together little charts to kind of condense some of the information on form 01 here, form. Just so it's easier to digest for you. So have big form, we'll go over that too. But I wanted to compare what we had talked about during estimated actuals when we were doing the budget. If you remember, there was an estimated actuals where we thought we would end for the year, and then unaudited is now your final numbers. So just for here, for this chart here, we're talking about revenues. When we met, we had said LCFF, we were a little bit worried about that we were waiting on the final annual numbers to come in for property taxes.
Mhm.
So they came in a little light. You'll see that difference on the far right of a negative 122,000. That's gonna be directly tied to your general fund dollars. The LCFS versus that are really coming as your general fund. A little bit of restricted, but it's mostly general fund. But the positive news on your federal, state, and your local, those came a little higher. So overall, as a district, your total revenues might be up 130,000. Just keep in mind that federal dollars are restricted, state can go either way, they're mostly restricted, and then other are typically closer to general fund. But just as a big picture for you as a district, you had a little bit more revenues come in, but they're probably tied to restricted dollars. Which is something to keep in mind. Expenditures, so this would be a combined view, and I know you're gonna panic, you can see the bottom line. This is your combined view of restricted and unrestricted dollars. The next slide, we're just gonna show unrestricted, so I can show you a comparison. As a whole, you're over 600, a little over 600,000, but that's including your restricted side, and our restricted side over the summer really had a lot of ELOP programs. So all of our ELOP programs are now included in your unaudited, except for the contracts that we made PO for. So any teacher salary, sped aid salaries, transportation salaries, any of that over the summer program is gonna hit this side of the unaudited because it happened during the summer recess period when we're closing and when we estimated. And so that's why you're seeing a higher expenditure right now. But if we go to slide 3. What I did here is I pulled out the restricted dollars. So now you're looking at a snapshot view of just your unrestricted side, which wouldn't have too much of a major shift during the summer, associated with summer programs. So overall, you're looking at a little bit higher for your employee costs, salaries and benefits, a little bit of savings on your books and supplies, and your services came in a little bit lower as well. Overall, not an astronomical change from your estimated actuals, but a bit more spent when we close the books, from what we project. Okay, any questions on those 3 before we move on to the other section? I know it's a lot. Try to pull out different views for you.
Why do we not have a better handle on employee benefits and how the expenditure would be higher than expected?
There are different things that can come in throughout the year. You know, for example, timesheets, I don't know clear all timesheets, but timesheets is a factor that can shift throughout the year. Sometimes we expect certain payments throughout the year, and we can budget and maintain those. The timesheets are very difficult for us because we can get an influx at the beginning of the year, we can get an influx at the end of the year.
I get it.
That's a small piece of it. Other things could be if in our system we didn't capture, you know, an employee moving mid-year would be one. The other one could be substitute coverage for how we have someone coming for a long-term assignment to get those. Changes in families too for employee benefits. Employee benefits would be changes like if a employee had a life event mid-year, they're allowed to add or drop employee spouses and dependents mid-year. The system wouldn't capture that right away. We try to catch them as best as we can, that those could add to the shift. Those would be the major ones for now. Another example would be like stipends. Like one of the things we like about previous MOU is when we're able to build stipends into their normal payroll, we can capture the projection a lot easier. Versus if they're not a part of it, the timesheeting for other things.
So you think like 3% variance is not unexpected?
It's not unexpected, but I mean, depending on how we budget our contract with suppliers, sometimes we would see a shift back. But as I feel like we're getting up tighter on examining how much we're spending there.
Yeah, I thought maybe that expenses went up and we didn't see it coming, but it's the other items you suggested make
You have
sense.
to change the salary.
They make sense.
You know, I mean, you did, but we captured that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You weren't under negotiation for the year.
So it wouldn't have been math.
Benefits change in January, so there's a little bit there that maybe the rates did increase a lot in January, but we typically make adjustments mid-year for those. It is higher.
Okay. Okay. I didn't see why wouldn't have expected it closer. All right, thanks. Yeah, it makes sense.
And this is the big view that we typically show you. Just so on the left, you have
Yeah.
the big 401 with everything split out, and then the budget gets pulled directly from our July budget. One of the things I wanted to point out that now that we have them, the actuals, they have the budget side by side, you kind of see what we're projecting going into this year, before we make adjustments at first income. So for example, your revenues, when you combine all of them on the right, we're projecting roughly around a 4% increase for all revenues, which is for us a little bit conservative, not overly conservative, but not as high as we've done in the past. When P1 comes out, we can look at what they estimate our property taxes to come in at, so that would be adjusted upwards. But for now, we're typically around 5 to 6%, so it's a little lower. Positions in your budget are going to be built upon movement, so you'll see increases, for example, on the first line there. That could be from natural step and column increases for teachers and classified staff. It can be a shift of someone exiting, someone entering. But those are all based off of, it should be put into our analytics software and it should have their correct step and column. So those would roughly why you're seeing 4%. So. Contracts, books and supplies, we try not to go too high up, try to be conservative there. We'll reduce down as needed to the first income, and now we're trying to keep those tight. Any questions on the big one?
I'm gonna ask this question. So I see that we have our money from our federal. Are we seeing money coming in from the feds yet?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
CDE has listed our allocation for last year. So that is locked in, as we reported. Is it deferred revenue account? So we spend the money first, let's send the money out.
Okay.
Those came in a little bit higher, a couple of them.
Perfect.
The rest of them kind of fit.
You got time. 6:20.
I better go. There you go. Sorry.
This is the bottom of that form one, just for level actual.
Illustration.
But balances,
The electricity program.
after the adjustments paid for that.
Good luck.
That extra amount of the bonds right there.
Okay. Yeah, praise the person.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
And for these, I broke out, your federal programs and your state programs. So if you remember last year, we brought this last year as well, and, for your federal, we really, the other half of this part was really all with ESSER accounts. And if you remember, there was a little bit of money left in one of them, but they were all sunshiny. So all the ESSER accounts are gone, they've been spent, they're actually recouping the fund if you haven't spent them at this point. So these are all of our federal accounts, our categorical. Notice prior year carryover, we did a really good job last year spending the money we had in those accounts that are meant for that year. And so, line 2, you'll see current year award, where we in each of those buckets. And more importantly, at the very bottom line, we use all of our buckets, restricted dollars in federal. This is a little bit of a kudos to like Chanel and the team, and making sure we're utilizing all the dollars we have. State very similar, the funding's a little bit different, but these are our state programs. We had a lot of carryover last year in the state programs. We've done our best to spend them down the best we can to remove these expenses from unrestricted to restricted side. Only have a little bit of carryover in ELOP and your lottery restricted. Other than that, we've spent the full accounts in all of them. You'll notice learning and recovery has nothing, but it's still there on the books because next year or this current year, we're supposed to be bringing that back. And so hoping to add some award money in there.
Which column?
The learning recovery, 74, 35.
Yeah, okay.
So even with the additional expenditures, you are still meeting your reserve of 4% for this year. We'll have to plug everything in with the revised amount of revenues in our budget now, and first income will have that. Try to be like better where it has the multi-year projection and show you reserves and additional reserve for years out.
The 50th time, 4% is not what we're required to be saving in the reserve. The projection is next year we meet the 7% addition, 7.1% additional.
That's what we had at second intro.
Yes,
So first intro will now be built with brand new actuals.
Mm.
These are not actuals. And so with those beginning balances, and then I'll take the budget and I'll revise it, see where we're at. Any questions?
Your gut feeling is we're gonna get there. Gut feeling is we're not gonna get there.
Feel like that's a little
Gut hurts.
question.
Your gut's hurting you.
The way
Okay.
like enters the information into the system and he'll get back to you.
Financial bug going around.
And it's tough out there, it's not just some people are experiencing and talking to some of the other directors.
Yeah.
It's tough time for a lot of folks. Do our best to make sure we're aligned with our state requirements and making sure we prepare folks.
Economy booms, our tax revenue goes up.
Right.
To Luis's point, there's a number of districts right now that are putting together their reduction plans, or continuing their reduction plan where we had ours, that got phased out. There's also a number of districts that had qualified budgets that didn't finish with a positive budget.
Didn't finish, is that what you
Did
said?
not finish with a positive budget, they finished with a qualified budget, which means you're compliant, but you are
In trouble.
in a state of watch. No, you're in a state of watch. I don't want to say in trouble. You're in a state of watching what you do and what actions you take. And a lot of times when you have a qualified budget, you move forward through a reduction plan. And so right now, for us, we don't have to have a reduction plan right now, which is a good thing. We don't want to be in that position. But I also know that there's a lot of districts that are going to be in a very similar boat of putting one together because of what's going on.
So these meetings are important.
Yeah. And then it'd be nice to have county review, because the county, just like all of our budget reviews are unaudited actuals. And I send them all the information they need and we'll make sure we're compliant as well.
Thanks, Louise. You always present it in a way that's very understanding, and I appreciate that.
Better every time.
Mm-hmm. This, this is an action item, so if there's no further questions, I'll make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 unaudited actuals.
Second it.
We have a motion by Renee, a second by Carl. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
We
And then-
three had to vote.
Cheers this time. We have to-
We're late.
It's gonna be like this. Now, we're gonna move on to item number 16, accept and adopt resolution 090925-1, adopting the gain limit for the 2024-2025 and 2025-2026 year. Thanks, Luis.
The annual resolution that's tied to the unaudited actuals has to go back a lot of years, all the way to Prop 4. It deals with your tax revenues that you receive. You're only allowed to spend up to X amount in a year for tax revenues you receive. And that's your GAN limit for the year. The resolution is just saying that we reviewed the GAN limit, which is the second form in the document on SACS.
Sorry.
It's okay. And it just means that we've calculated the requirement and we meet the requirement. Yeah.
I have a question. Do we always do 2 years at one time?
Yeah, it would, these 2 years.
Okay.
Previous year and then.
Okay,
Current year. and previous year.
thank you.
Okay. And at this point, almost there. So.
Standard. Is there any questions on this item? This is an action item, so is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved resolution. Oh,
Yeah.
090925-1,
We have a-
dam limit,
Second.
A motion by Carl, a second.
090925-1.
This is a roll call vote, so we will have to take a roll call vote on this. So Carl,
Aye.
Virginia,
Aye.
Renee, I. So we have 3 ayes, 0 noes, 2 absents, and 0 abstained.
It's like a pickleball score.
And then we're gonna move on to item number 17, approved Prop 28 art and music plan. We do have one public comment on this. Yes, who?
I would be remiss if I didn't speak to this item, being that it's regarding our arts and music program here at Orchard School, which is of course very near and dear to my heart, being an artist myself. I think it's weird that you're approving something that's technically for last year though, right now, when I was looking at the document.
Let's say that.
On the document.
So,
Last year.
so I think that's odd. But I digress. I would like to just reiterate to the board how important arts and music are for young children. The VAPA program currently, with the TK5 doing the VAPA program, I've noticed a big change when the 7th graders had VAPA before they came to me, and their abilities in art are so much more advanced than last year's students. Just their ability to think creatively, their ability to explore, their self-confidence. They haven't heard anybody yet say, I can't draw, and that's pretty beautiful. It's pretty beautiful for 7th graders, because that's a pretty common thing. So, this program is just really important for our whole community and for all of these kids. It's great for our teachers too, because they get a little bit of extra prep time, which, our TK5 teachers don't get much prep time. So this gives them the opportunity to prepare in their classroom. And it also gives our kids something to love about school. And that's what electives and this VAPA program really do for our students. They give them a reason to come. When sometimes that's the only reason we have to come here. So I also would, say that it teaches them skills that they can carry into any profession. Just about any profession you walk into, being able to think creatively will benefit you. So I just wanted to speak to that because I'd be a slouch if I didn't. So, I guess you should prove this for last year. You can explain why it's for last year. I don't know.
I'm sure Luis will do that for us.
Keep it going forward.
So Luis.
Yes, so I will say the title's a little bit deceiving on this one. It is actually an annual report update that needs to be approved. It is one of the new requirements of Prop 28 that they've changed over the years. It's not only do we have the big approval plan that we bring in maybe January, February, if my timeline's correct. Now, at the end of the year, before September 30th, we're supposed to just bring a report of how the funds are being. And so we just, we don't even talk about the money in this report. It's associated with how many FTEs you have, how many students are affected, and just a quick description on how the program's going.
So this is only for elementary school?
This is, we're calling out the one FTE for elementary school.
Okay. The only reason I ask is because we have VAPA, we have Miss McCarthy in the middle school, and we have our band. So I'm just wanting to understand why we're not putting all 3 on here.
We could. It's not a large bucket.
Okay,
It is easier for us to call up where we pretty much 90% of the money goes into.
Okay.
And then we find out, I use other buckets.
okay.
We technically we support all of it.
Okay. You guys have any questions?
Yeah, it kind of came in last minute, that this new annual
Oh, that's
template is just something that's supposed to be done by September 30th. Brand new, Typically in, like I said, February, it's a full plan with the allocation of.
Just another new
I mean,
report.
Louise did save us a special board meeting because we were lining up for, if he didn't message us on Saturday morning after he got it from the county, we would be looking at a special board meeting a couple weeks.
Oh, because it
That's what
has to
he
be
found out.
approved, done by the 30th.
Correct, so. I think the fact that you got it in was great, Louise, so thank you. It is kind of funky on how many different reports are now due for these consultants. It's kind of like something that came out of COVID and now is on all these different.
Considering we're
reports across.
asking for the reports on reports,
We'll
so.
all post it on our website, but. Is there, we write some plans on our website, we have the full plan up there. That we just, it's just an add on.
You guys have any questions? I'll make a motion to approve the Prop 28 art and music plan.
I'll second.
So a motion by Renee, a second by Virginia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
And for next year.
Can we just pre-approve next year? Just
We
kidding.
need the form.
See?
down.
Excellent.
You mean for this year?
Oh, yeah. This year.
Because next year-
Well, next year-
This year.
Next year's already here. It's
Yeah.
time.
So now we're gonna go back on our agenda. We're gonna go back to item number 8, teaching and learning. Ms. Sabalas.
Cool. We're gonna ask for stats for Pang, so.
That's like, don't.
Give us stats.
Very good
Okay.
speech now. Your stats
That's
thing.
Yeah, I like this, I'm not tired of seeing this.
So I just handed the board actually the poster of our virtues, so this year.
Wow,
Erin
that's a lot.
helped me- Erin actually helped me
There are.
prioritize them and she matched them to our cause expectations, so every week. We're doing morning announcements, we are announcing what the virtue is and how it ties to our cause expectations for students. And then using these expectations, so they're reminded every morning, which I think is great, and so something that we talked about last year was with PBIS specifically and for student recognition, we're also gonna use the virtues so that teachers can select a student that exemplifies that virtue, and we're gonna attend for the PBIS monthly assemblies, which is gonna be really great, we're excited for, our PBIS team just talked about it today, so we're finalizing that. And then we're also gonna use it for our teacher recognition. And so again, Jeff and I are meeting to finalize that process and what it's gonna look like for teachers and classified staff as well. So we'll be honoring both certificated and classified staff at our staff meetings so that we can get more recognition out for our staff members.
Can I ask on that? Is there a way to make sure the board knows when you guys are having the PBIS assemblies? I know it's probably in your newsletter, but maybe just a friendly reminder, because I think I would like to come to those when we're recognizing our students. And then are we inviting the families of the students that are being recognized to those?
Talking about today actually in PBIS, and so we used to do student recognition way back in the day, if you remember when we were teaching kinder. And I think it was mostly we would invite the families of the student being recognized just because it was a lot.
No, that's what I mean, the student being recognized,
But
that their
and
family is
One of
invited.
the things that we were talking about, so I think we're leaning towards doing that.
Yeah.
I can get back to.
Okay, and then as far as like staff recognition, I mean, I can only speak for myself and you guys can chime in, but I think as a board, we would like to also be part of that recognition of our staff. Like, you know, for me, it's important that they know we value all of our staff especially, but you know, being part of those type of ceremonies, I think is important to be
I
part of.
second that.
Okay, perfect, so I.
I got it, yeah.
I can send reminders, but it will be in my newsletters as well, so you guys get those on a weekly basis.
Thank you. What virtue are we on this week?
Yeah.
Determination.
Determination.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, next up, we are gonna talk about student referrals, and so I know the board, you guys already got information on the percentages of referrals and what they were for. And so one of the takeaways was how are we gonna address those referrals and how are we going to streamline some things? And so through PBIS and MTSS is how we're gonna do it. So for the behavior referrals, again, I think one of the biggest takeaways we talked about is more student recognition, more ways to show our students, you know, if we're gonna talk about these virtues, if we're gonna talk about these pause expectations. It's not just the broom bucks that you guys are getting and turning your voice for, but we wanna do the internal recognition as well, and we're determined all week this week and really talking about what it looked like, not just saying it, but showing it through action. So what did you do that showed determination this week? And so being able to recognize them and hold them accountable for their actions and their behavior. And so again, we'll do that through our monthly assemblies. We also talked about redoing our incident report. And so one of the things that we saw through PBIS when we were working with the county was they were asking us to kind of filter data a certain way, or, you know, what's the place on campus that you see the most behaviors? Is it the fields? Is it the playground? Is it the restrooms? And so we weren't really able to collect that data the way we wanted to with the current referral that we have. And so we want to get more specific, so we are able to look at that data and figure out ways to address the behavior. If it is on the field, maybe we need to put another there. If there's things happening in the restroom, having a staff member, a yard staff member there, monitoring that more closely. And so with the new referral, we'll be able to do that. And I think the other piece of the new referral is reviewing the communication between staff members and admin. So what did the staff member do? So now the admin knows what to do, and then the admin also being able to send that referral back with the information for the teacher or the direct staff member to know what we did on our end. And so Jeff and I and Ms. Nelson are gonna be working on that form, and then we're gonna hope to roll it out when we come back from October break. And then for MTSS, what they're gonna work on, and I know this is a process that we kind of see every year, and Jen, you can chime in on this one too, because she's on MTSS, and I feel like are you not on? No. Oh. Well. That's Jen. Sorry. But it's
She's not sorry.
But it is
Great. I can tell why you're.
I think she meant it.
yearly is our SST process, what that looks like, and just trying to maintain stability with what it looks like, and so that all staff members understand what the process is, what the forms are. So working on that, and then also providing more resources for teachers, especially in the classroom, or even your staff members on the playground. If there are certain behaviors, how should you be addressing that? What are some different tier 1, tier 2 strategies to be able to address them? Before they have to escalate to admin, because we all want to have a piece of making sure that students know all adults on campus and help them. And so we will work on that. Any questions about the referrals? Or what we're doing? And we are still working with the county for PBIS. All right, and then last but not least, just some updates for what's going on this month. This week we have the book fair going on. Our Apex Fun Run is on Thursday, so if you guys want to come see all the fun and the students running and happy and dancing, that'll be on Thursday. And then we have picture day for elementary on Friday, and then the 19th is for middle school. We also have Second Harvest that's on the 17th. And then coffee with the principal on the 18th, and then we have conferences from the 23rd through the 26th, which are all half days.
The school year is flying by.
Well, I was just thinking that.
Flying by.
Ask them. The flying?
It is, I think.
As a parent, it's flying by.
Parent flying by.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys don't see that. I'm like, we're almost in the middle of September.
Yeah. We're almost done.
Well, they started so early.
Yeah, Halloween, then Christmas,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, yeah, it's right around the corner.
Do you guys have any questions for teaching and learning?
I hope we can, I don't have any questions. I just want to say I hope we can really gather some good information on a revised referral form.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to see.
We were able to get some good feedback from the county. They were giving us some exemplars and we kind of just pulled from different ones based off what our people.
I would like to request it. So I think this is amazing. And I'd like to find some way to make it
Pretty complete.
bigger and have it.
Posters?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Somehow have it.
I heard,
We'll make it pretty
I was gonna I'm kind of looking at you when I said it.
I'll make it giant. I'll make my students make it.
I just think that, it's something that we are holding our staff and our students to, and we should also hold our board to. So I think we as a board should be following the virtues as well.
I
The
heard
first time
someone
I've
say-
ever written Aaron's name down in my book for an action. It's the first time I've ever had like an action with your name next to it coming out of the board.
I kind of was hoping you would say you would help with that.
No.
Thank
You
you.
know, Aaron,
Thing
you
that caught me in a
create tiles up here for us to look up at.
good one, too. Kids will throw spitwad at it. That one.
Just make it, Aaron.
Your classroom has so many aspects.
Yeah.
Not for a while.
Oh my God, you have to see it.
Me too.
Really?
Bring my buddy.
Oh my God. That one.
So I heard somebody say, somebody helped prioritize the virtue list.
Aaron did.
And I'm looking for the priority numbers. Do they exist?
I can
It's just alphabetical.
I'll send it to you.
These are organized up.
I'll share this with you.
Yeah, I want, I
I'll
was.
send the briefing.
Determination is really important.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm loving to see the way that the priorities were attached.
Well, and it's,
That's the fun part.
it's based off the pause, so every month, they're gonna follow prepared, attentive, working together and safe. Based off the virtues, so Aaron did a really good job.
Word goes with the prepared and working together state, so.
So you can get through 4 of these every week?
Month.
Every month. So you can't get through. This is like the whole,
Wait.
this is for the old timers.
Okay.
For a month.
So
Oh,
Yeah,
this
so
is
once a week.
It's a feel with it.
S. Oh, you know,
Situation.
so.
Here, wait, show-
Just the virtues.
It's gonna be.
Organized.
But we.
Can we get an organized?
Can you, the one you create, can you organize?
This is the one directly.
I have them
of the
all
virtue section.
organized
are
in,
all-
so that they go like.
That's
E8
just
of the
organized.
lesson.
She's gonna create-
Then
gonna
we don't
be
do them alphabetically.
It's already created, I have.
We have it. This was
That's fine.
trying to get
Or
it.
to try to.
I can buy-
Show you.
Yeah.
Acceptable. Try again.
I mean, I feel like you guys the west side, every.
We should have just brought the car.
I know.
We should have just brought the car.
All right. any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. She's like, I thought I was doing good and they gave me more things to do.
So just like.
Here's
this
how,
one.
so this is how I have them organized. So they have.
We already made her wait till the end.
No.
Okay, I got that.
Like you're actually prepared to be, Yeah.
Table cleared.
yeah,
All right.
together.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't have to start with us, just has to be related.
Yeah,
That way you can get through
yeah, let me.
them. So 4 per
I'll
month.
just show it to everybody. So this is how I organize.
Yeah, so the
The
associated works better.
Pause.
Yes.
Okay,
See?
I see.
And then they
I
have
see.
dates.
That makes more sense than alphabetical.
So Here.
Except.
This is how we
Okay.
have them.
Mhm.
You-
Senate.
Repeat it again.
She said this summer.
That's
Great.
working.
Wait, I can't, thank you. Thank you for helping us with that, Erin.
Who came up with the list?
Erin. No, I just forget.
The words themselves, the virtues. It's from the
Yeah.
Virtues Project, which is they're a non-denominational organization where they highlight 52 different virtues that are celebrated and supported by every major culture and religion on earth.
Love that.
Okay, so this was a lot of people thinking for a long time, because I don't know anyone that would have been able to do this. I'm like,
No.
wow.
Long time, and we used to, we used to do the virtues of the week, and then they kind of fell off the table, and then, but some teachers were still doing it. And they're like, hey, where is the virtues of all the cause, because I did that some years ago, I'm like,
Uh,
That I made that, so I brought it back and I readjusted the budget to go along with the school year, the date and updated it. What I'm working on now, those songs that go with.
Oh my God, how cool. So every month at our meeting, we'll have a song.
I'm not. So, but I'm working.
Next year.
I'm chipping away.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our next item, which is item number 10, or item number 9, discuss facility master plan.
So not too much new, just want to hit on a couple things. One, we are looking at different carpet options and starting to do a little bit of pre-work. You know, obviously we had the architects coming out tonight and there was a piece of that was more important for us to get. But we are starting to look at flooring. I mean, our elementary classrooms are in the highest need of flooring. And we're looking at a rubber flooring actually that might be able to replace some of the rooms that are carpet. So if we think of some, especially some of our special education rooms where the carpet is not the best, most suitable flooring. But we want to capture some of the elements of it is quieter in a carpet room. And if you go straight to some of the other like LVT, the linoleum, those tiles, they're gonna make the room louder. And we see that in our science room. I mean, Jen is next to a science room. It is louder in her room when you're in that science room. And so we're trying to look at different options. So long story, our goal is to visit a school next week, the one in San Jose Unified. They did a rubber floor there. Chanel and I found a different person other than our standard person we've used for flooring, but we don't want to try and install here with it until we got a chance to see it. The good news is we're going to see it in the cafeteria. So there's no place at school really louder than a gym, than a cafeteria. So we're going to go see it there next week. If it's good, then we're going to try it actually in our room 24 here in our moderate to severe special ed classroom. That's that. And if it's really good, then it's something we could consider for other rooms, but start with that. We had a facility used for soccer. We had a potential pretty big rental that's coming through that wants to use our soccer or to use our field for soccer on the weekend. They were paying close to $40,000 to $50,000 annually at the high school district. And they need more field space. So we're looking at that partnership and we can provide more information on that once we get it. They just started using it this weekend with the potential of growing the increase coming up. So that's a good
Is
one for
it
us.
kids or adults?
Students.
Okay.
Students, yes. And some of our students will actually probably be in that league, not fully from the league, but they have all ages. Really young, all the way to high school age. We are demoing a new TV projection system. I know some of you probably heard me talk about it before the meeting. Because we're trying to look at the options besides just the short throw projectors and TVs in the room. So Luis and LP actually put it together this week. I was supposed to help them, and by the time I got down there, they were already had it together. So did a good job with it. And so it's a touchscreen. The part that we're trying to get to with some of our technology is we can't always be on this replacement cycle of everything in the room, whether it's like the speakers and the projections and then the sounds. It's like everything is so stuck. What we're trying to find are there some solutions, even if we pay a little bit more for the solution up front, it's one device and then building everything off of it. So the speakers on this are really loud. I mean, Luis and I were in the library, nobody else was there. We turned it all the way up and you could hear it all the way from Chris Anderson reading corner all the way to the other side, which is just something you don't have. If we put the sound on that projector, it's fine for this room overall, but
Not
you know,
bigger
it
than mine.
depending on the size of your classroom, if you have 15, 20 kids in there, it's one thing. 30 or 40, the sound's not going to carry the way we want it to. And not all the new systems mix with our speakers there. So it's, you know, it's just something we need to look at a better solution for us going forward. So we are demoing, like I said, 2 different ones, and you're more than welcome to see it. Anytime that you're on site, take you over to it, collect that feedback. After Mike tries it for a while, we're actually going to have another teacher try it too, just to see how it matches up with their classroom. And then the last one is actually, I was grateful for Virginia being here on the day when we were able to talk about this Silkwood Road, the gate back there, about opening it up again and trying to figure out if there's an easier access, because right now we have a gate there, but on the other side, it's just kind of an open area. There's no curb, or there's no natural place to somebody walking across. And so during our meeting with Cohen that we had here, we were able to share our desire to open it back up, but we were hoping that, you know, they could help make a pathway for it, or, you know, bigger picture, they ever put a park or something else, or that would be great, but at least a pathway from the sidewalk into our lot, and then we know we can move our yard staff to really support them. But right now, you know, you can see the junk that was out there that gets dropped off there. Unfortunately, people look at it as an area to dump stuff. I would say probably once a month, we're using the San Jose app to say, please come haul something away. I
think-
would open up to, I know Virginia too, if you want to share any of your thoughts from that meeting, but. And sorry, Renee.
It was a great opportunity. I have really been advocating for us to open it back up since I live on that side, and it's easier for my kids to come down from that way instead of walking down Oakland Road, which is a lot more dangerous.
Yeah,
But it would be nice to have help from the city to put some sort of pathway. So he seemed willing to do it and to put it in the budget. And we're willing to work on our side. There were a couple of ideas that were thrown out there, maybe a couple benches for parents to sit and wait for their students. But it was a good conversation, and I'm glad we were able to catch him on campus and have that.
And we talked about on our side, doing similar to what we did out here at the DG surface across the whole area. So it's not, because right now it's dead grass that just, it can't survive there. And so using a, you know, a fairly cheap solution, but obviously it still looks good and it's clean just like it is on here. So looking at something like that there.
I'm excited that you guys are exploring that opportunity, because I know that when that was open, it was an alternate. It was very much an alternate place for parents that maybe would drop their kids off a couple blocks away and let them walk into campus. And I think once we closed that gate, we really saw the congestion up front. So I'm so thankful that you guys are exploring that opportunity to reopen that gate. And like Virginia said, a lot of our students that live over that area, especially the mobile home park, they walk to and from school. And I the last couple of days have driven down Oakland Road to get to Tasman, and seeing the kids walking, some of them are not being smart. I mean, these are kids, these are little kids, like these are teenagers, preteens.
Even
so-
the drivers are not smart.
Flying
down.
They're flying down that road. So I think just as a parent, the sense of security, knowing my kids walking to school a little bit in a safer area. So thank you to the both of you guys for exploring that opportunity. Okay, do you guys have any questions under facilities?
I can't wait to hopefully capture Jeff putting up the privacy fence.
I didn't want to say it until we did. I wanted people to say it looked good before it. Then we sure I could put it together, but.
He, Carl missed it because he wasn't
I
at
don't
the
think there's faith
committee.
in us.
So
I was on the phone. We had a conversation on the phone.
he had admitted, I guess, that he was gonna put up the privacy fencing against the new parking lot for
Some super micro.
Super Micro, where they built their parking area.
Mm.
They're gonna cover it with the privacy fencing, and he said he was gonna come and do it on a weekend. Luis is gonna walk slowly to get. Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to now item number 18, superintendent report.
All right, thank you. Just quick, we did fill one of our van rides that goes over to the Hotel Motel on North First Street. Is maxed out now. We have 10 students on that ride. And so that's been successful. I know our families appreciate that over there, and it's been good seeing our kids be able to be on time to school that are on that ride. And I think Mello and Mindy are doing a great job. It's funny, I joke about it, but it was totally true. When Luis and I did the ride, they just aren't as happy because of the music Mindy plays. So we were at a deficit at that point, for sure. The other thing we just wanted to bring to the board's attention is we did express our interest with Alum Rock to participate in COPITA. And I hope it's okay, but Renee and I talked about bringing an MOU to the board that was sent, and I know that a board member in Alum Rock sent emails to board members about the event and the importance of the event and the excitement, I guess I should say, around the event. And we might be looking at an MOU with it. One of the things we don't know is if there's gonna be cost involved in it, and assuming that there's all these soccer games that are gonna be taking place, there's gonna be referees or whatever it is. I know they're looking at trying to get a donation. I know they're looking at having have very little financial impact, but we don't know what it is yet. The other thing that I would say is not all the districts feel that you need to do an MOU to compete in something like this, because we did express our interest for our schools to be there. And so
Do you want to, sorry, do you want to, because maybe our public that's here might not understand what we're talking about. So maybe we could add a little bit to explain.
So Alum Rock reached out to me in the very beginning of this year,
And the board.
superintendent and the board. That's right, they reached out twice. For some of the controversy that they've had recently, we had already shared that we had interest in participating in COPIA, which is a soccer tournament for upper elementary and middle school, boys and girls. And it's was very well received by other school districts in our area, Franklin McKinley, Alum Rock,
It's all the east side.
all the
schools.
east side schools. And when we first heard about it, went and talked to Christine about it, we had interest in it. We know sports is a big part of our community here too. And we figured it'd be a great event to get schools connected. So we said, yes. And then some of the stuff that has gone on, unfortunately for Alum Rock, and maybe some of the more tougher challenges they faced, it kind of went silent for a little bit, and then it resurfaced again. The board member shared back with the board again that they have interest in continuing with COPITA, and their new interim suit reached out and shared with all of us that she is moving forward with it, and so we continue to express our interest in participating. There was an ask about an MOU, and I think our board certainly has interest in supporting it, but maybe it was something we consider when to do that MOU and to, see if there's costs associated, because if we do an MOU, we can bring that cost forward with it. The event is not taking place till the springtime, so we have a little bit of time to figure out what the next steps are. It also allows us for the interim superintendent, she asked if she could schedule a meeting with all of us again to go through a little bit more, so we want to afford her that opportunity too, since she is just starting off this year, especially with the job. So anyway, just wanted to share that. We're definitely open to feedback from the board on any agenda planning for an MOU or when we do that, but we do have some time before the event. And I think through the updates and through what everyone shared tonight, our committees have started here. And some of the board members that are on the committees, you were able to go to our first meeting of the year. Those committees are really important for our work because it helps drive the conversation to take place here. It helps us make sure we make good decisions as a school district, as a school site. And just, I appreciate the time the people that serve on the committees because it offers this perspective we don't have and we really do need all the time. So it is work. It is time those people are staying after school to do that work, but it is really important. So I do appreciate all the staff members on it. And I will say, we even have staff members that emailed today saying, hey, can I get on that committee? And Aaron and I talk and we make sure we do our meeting, confer, and really every time it's like, if people want to participate in something, we want the voice on them. And so Jasmine, Christine and I have broken up the committees. Most committees, there's not both of us on. There's certain committees that two of us go to. For example, our safety committee has Jasmine and myself both on it. But Christine has committees that I don't serve on with her, so we kind of break it up. That's it. So thank you.
Any questions on the superintendent report? See none, we'll move on to future, did you, sorry.
Not a discussion item, really.
Right, but if you had any questions on what he brought up, that's all. Clarifying questions.
It's a rich field to talk about, but I thought it's sort of, we listen and nod along and appreciate it and we move.
Listen and
Like,
don't
we're not supposed
judge.
to ask them about their presentations either. And that doesn't work very well. Not in this room. This room's fine. Perfect.
Meetings and
It's
agenda.
good to, it's good to hear.
Future meetings and agenda items, we have our October 14th meeting, November 18th meeting, December 9th meeting. If you have any topics for future meetings, you can let us know now, or you can email those to Jeff or myself, and we'll make sure that we find an agenda to get them on. Anything? Awesome. We're gonna move on to board reports. Carl,
Pass.
Virginia.
Thank you all.
I enjoy attending our principals' coffees. We've had really good turnouts. And Christina has done a good job with trying to get feedback from the community on what we would like to hear. I do try to go as a parent and not necessarily as a board member. But you know, I wear both hats, I guess. So those are nice. I attended back to school night and introduced myself at the Spanish presentation. So we didn't have a huge turnout, but I was there. I attended an unhoused conference and
So what?
unhoused student,
Oh,
unhoused
sorry.
conference, yeah. So currently, the unhoused student support group that I'm working with, we're creating a survey to be sent out to board members just to gather information on our McKinney-Vento students and what support services may be needed on campus or how we can help improve that. Hopefully it'll get some information out on who this pool of students are. And with that being said, I did visit 2 unhoused family shelters last week, I believe it was, or transitional housing properties. So I did go to the hotel on First Street. That was very eye-opening, interesting, great experience. And then the tiny homes on Evans Lane. Evans Lane?
That looked like my
Something
floss.
like that.
No.
No, it's on the south side by Kurtner. So those are those are 2 shelters that we toured so far just to see what's needed, but it was really nice to see the First Street one since a lot of our kiddos are going there. And they are really happy with Orchard. Because I did talk to the staff there and they love the fact that we have our van, our transportation. And although McKinney-Vento students are allowed to attend their homeschool if they want to continue while they're in transitional housing, they do like to suggest that they come here just because of convenience. And they seem to have a really good support system there. So that was really nice. And with that, tomorrow I'll be going on a ride along on the van to see how that. No. I'll ride along in her van to see that process. It just helps me understand and advocate for these specific students. I did come, as Jeff mentioned, to see Crossing with Council. So when San Jose Police Department, the school safety program was here, and we had Councilman David Cohen as a crossing guard. So Renee and I were here that morning, and then I stayed to have a little conversation. Yeah, I ended up with COVID. I mean, I had COVID, which I didn't know at the time. But I had my mask on and I knew I wasn't feeling well, but I didn't want to lose that opportunity. I wanted to catch him here. So that was where we had the conversation about the back gate. And that's what I've been up to. And yesterday I attended an AI conference for the SBA.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I try to
Good job.
stay involved as much as possible. And that's all I have.
So I also attended back to school night. I got to meet our new teachers. I went and made sure to say hi to our new staff and welcome them to Orchard and let them know that we are glad they're here. Very impressed by the 3 teachers I met. I'm super excited to see what they bring to our school this year. And I actually can't wait to see what happens with Ban because he's got a lot of energy. I attended our principal's coffee. Great job. You have great turnout. It was probably one of the best turnouts I've seen at a principal's coffee.
since my son was in second grade, so great job with that. And I also attended the crossing with Cohen, as I call it. That was kind of fun to see. There's, just to ask the board members, please check your inboxes. There was a survey sent out from the Legislative Action Committee for priorities that are surrounding, that you would like to see us focus on. The deadline for that is coming up. We're definitely trying to get all school districts to turn it in. Right now, I'm the only one from Orchard that has submitted it, so please, if you can, because I am on the LAC Legislative Action Committee, it'd be great to have a voice of someone other than myself. We have on this Thursday, the Santa Clara County School Boards Association is having a Zoom with the county executive, James Williams, to go over the new measure, the tax that they're trying to put forward. They're calling it, I believe, HR 1. It's to help implement funding that's being cut for Medi-Cal, and we really want to kind of talk to him about how is that going to affect the schools, because we provide services as well, and if we're getting cut funding, is some of this tax money going to be, it's a sales tax that they're proposing. So that's this Thursday. Next Wednesday, we have our evening Zoom meeting. And then just keep on your mind, October 29th is our Santa Clara County School Boards Association Fall Dinner. It's at Maggiano's. I can promise you the menu is going to be great because I picked it myself. So I would love for all the board members. We were one of the very few school districts last year to have all of our board members and our superintendent attend. So once you see that come out, just reach out to Jeff. He can get you signed up. Our topic this year is going to be English language learners. We're going to have a student panel, like we did last year, just speak on their experience and what it's like to be in that space. And then we have CSBA coming up in December. I just wanted to kind of throw it out to everyone that the conference starts Wednesday morning this year. Usually it doesn't start till Thursday morning, but it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this year. They don't have anything on Saturday. So I believe most of us are going on Tuesday, so we can be there for Wednesday morning for conference. So more information to follow on that. And tomorrow night we have our join night with our Cub Scouts. So hopefully we'll get some more Cub Scouts to join. And we are working with actually my son's Boy Scout troop. They have some some people looking for Eagle projects. So I know that my husband has been speaking with Jeff to see if there's anything around campus that we could get some Eagle projects done for. And I know we have one person that is very close. It's gonna be quick. He needs to get his Eagle project done because he turns 18 very soon. So we're very excited to have Orchard be willing to accept some of these youth to come in and do things around our school. So
Eagle projects are great.
They're great.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
Again,
there's another program that Scouting has. It's for our SDC classes, and hopefully we can come up with an agreement that they will come into our SDC classes and provide some sort of scouting program for our youth that maybe don't fit the regular demographics. And so I introduced Jeff and Christina to the person that handles that. And I'm super happy to hear that you guys had a meeting. So I look forward to seeing where that goes, because it's a brand new program that they just have started. And we'd be one of the first schools in the area to really be on board with it. So with that, we will close our general meeting at 7:09, but the board will be going into closed session. We have 2 items that we'll be discussing in that closed session. So do we have any public comments on our closed session items?
We do not.
We do not have any. So with that said, we will give a report out at the end of our closed session.